just wish I could talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening.
It's no secret that Dead Space as a franchise is looking pretty grim as of 2026. Even though the survival horror renaissance is in full swing, Capcom's Resident Evil has been cooking and printing money the last several years with the upcoming Code Veronica remake on the horizon. I can't wait to see Claire Redfield back in action. And Silent Hill, once thought dead for over a decade, made an amazing comeback with Silent Hill 2 Remake. Konami called it a huge success, and we got Silent Hill F and the upcoming Silent Hill Townfall. Hideo Kojima's OD is looking to be another heavy hitter in the genre. We may actually get the true PT game that we never got back in 2014. With Dead Space being put on ice after the masterpiece of a remake the original game had, I remember thinking at the time, wow, Gunnar Wright came back and Isaac actually talks and has a face. No loading screens at all, huge graphical upgrades, and even added new features and weapon upgrades that the original didn't even have. I couldn't stop thinking about the potential Dead Space 2 remake could have. I don't even mind the Left 4 Dead inspired multiplayer mode Dead Space 2 had. I was just mind blown to see it again, and I was so hyped. And then EA, doing EA things, canned it and said it didn't meet sales expectations. Here's where the math gets insane. According to Chuck Beaver, the writer and producer on the Dead Space series, back in the day, EA's threshold to keep going with Dead Space was 5 million units. 5 million for a survival horror game was already steep, but now, years later, Beaver says that number is 15 million. 15 million for a horror game. The ceiling on the genre doesn't go that high. Resident Evil is the only franchise that touches those numbers, and it's had 25 years, multiple films, and a Netflix show to build that audience. 2 million copies for a franchise that was dead for a decade wasn't a failure. EA's math was the failure. Glenn Schofield, the original creator of Dead Space, pitched Dead Space 4, which I feel like could have been a great game and a return to its roots. Schofield disliked the co op focus Dead Space 3 had, stating that multiplayer mechanics don't belong in a pure horror experience. He emphasized a return to lonely, isolated terror of the original. His exact words from an interview with IGN in 2025: I can get back the leadership team. I need the models from EA Motive, and I can save you $30 to $40 million on the idea that I have. EA said no, again. Schofield didn't give up, though. In late 2025, EA was acquired by investor group Saudi PIF Silver Lake Affinity Partners for $55 billion. Schofield saw an opportunity. He started making calls to the new owners, hoping Dead Space could be sold off if EA wasn't going to use it. I am more optimistic, he said. Somebody new could buy the Dead Space IP. And then in July 2026, just this month actually, Glenn Schofield announced his retirement.
Hi, I'm Glenn Schofield. Some of you know me as a video game maker, director, and it's something I'm so proud of, and I know I'm lucky to be able to do this. But after 35 years of making games and directing them, running teams, it's time for me to officially retire from the day-to-day work. It's been such an amazing career, and I have so many people to thank for it that I can't possibly do it all here, but to my close friends and family and people who've stood by me, patted me on the back, listened to my crazy ideas. Thank you so much. To the fans, man, you supported me. You let mine and my team's games into your homes. You told me when I was good, and you told me when I wasn't so good. But you made me better. Thank you so much. To my peers, fellow developers, and the past couple of decades have been some of the greatest times in video games. Some of the best games have come out over these times. some of the greatest talent in the world I've been able to work with. I thank you all. I had a front row seat to one of the greatest creative explosions in history, I think. And to the people who supported us in video games, I mean, we can't do it without you. And again, you supported my games and my team's games, and thank you so much. And to EA, thank you for letting me make Dead Space. And Activision, you gave me the keys to 3 Call of Duty games, and I really appreciate your trust. To, my family, thank you so much. You guys have been with me all through this ride. To my kids, thank you. We put up with the crazy dad, controllers all over the place, and all kinds of games everywhere, and paint on the rug, and well, thank you. I love you guys. To my wife, Barb, you're my partner. I couldn't have done this alone. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. I love you. This is an amazing industry with so many talented people. And I know times are tough right now, but man, the future ahead is really, really bright. And I wish you all, the next generation of game makers, the best of luck. Explore, experiment, enjoy, and don't forget that the most important thing is the idea. Thank you all so much.
35 years in the industry, Dead Space, Call of Duty, the Callisto Protocol, and the last thing he tried to do before walking away was bring his franchise back to life. EA said no every single time. Glenn Schofield officially announcing his retirement via LinkedIn. I'm sitting here wondering what's going to happen next. Here's the thing. Dead Space has survived worse. It survived Dead Space 3's backlash. It survived Visceral Games' closure. It survived a decade of silence. And when it finally came back, even as a remake, people showed up. 2 million people showed up for a franchise that had been dead for 10 years. That's not nothing. That's not failure. The market won't let them ignore it forever. Horror is too hot right now, but here's the part you can control. EA only listens to noise. That's how the remake happened in the first place. Fans spent a decade being loud about it. So if you want to see Dead Space 4 exist someday, maybe even see the Brethren Moon's storyline finished, if you want Isaac to get his ending, talk about it, post about it, comment on every Dead Space video you see. Keep the conversation alive, because Glenn Schofield couldn't get it done alone, but a few million people refusing to shut up about it, that's harder to ignore. So tell me in the comments if you wish, what Dead Space game would you want to see next? A Dead Space 4 that finishes the Brethren Moon story? A Dead Space 2 remake, something entirely new in the universe? Let me know, I read every one.
I'm sorry.
Someday soon at EA, someone's going to look at that pitch Glenn made and realize what they've been sitting on. Dead Space isn't dead. It's waiting.